All right, today we are talking about a drug that is, well, it's a bit of a paradox. It can be an absolute lifesaver, but it can also be a real liability. We're talking about prednisone. You see, it's one of the most powerful tools in modern medicine, but man, it comes at a price. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly why this drug is known as a true double-edged sword.
So that really gets us to the heart of it, doesn't it? Is this thing a miracle cure, or is it more of a necessary evil? And spoiler alert, the answer is complicated. It's not a simple yes or no. To really get it, you've got to weigh these incredible life-changing benefits against some really serious risks.
Okay, so first things first. To get a handle on prednisone, you have to understand what it's built to fight. And its number one enemy? Inflammation. Let's dig into how this drug got so good at its job.
So what is this stuff, really? Well, at its core, prednisone is basically a synthetic version of a hormone your body already makes called cortisol. You've probably heard of it. It's the stress hormone. But cortisol does more than just manage stress. It's also the master controller of your body's inflammatory response. What prednisone does is it kind of hijacks that whole system. It grabs the controls and cranks the anti-inflammation dial up to 11, way beyond what your body could ever do on its own.
Now, here's a really important point. A common mistake people make. They think prednisone is just a strong painkiller. It's not. Not at all. It doesn't just numb the pain or cover it up. No, its real power is that it goes straight to the source. It attacks the out-of-control inflammation and the overactive immune system that are causing all that pain and damage to begin with.
And when you look at what it's used for, I mean, the list is just incredible. We're talking autoimmune diseases like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. We're talking severe allergic reactions and asthma attacks, nasty skin conditions. It's even used to stop the body from rejecting a new organ after a transplant. It's kind of amazing, right? But there's a common thread tying all of these very different problems together. They're all driven by an immune system that's gone haywire and is causing massive inflammation.
So how in the world does one little pill manage to calm down all that chaos inside the body? Well, to figure that out, we've got to zoom in, way in, down to the cellular level.
Okay, this might look a little technical, but trust me, it breaks down into a pretty cool four-step process. So step 1, you take the pill, and your liver flips a switch, activating the drug. Step 2, this active form, called prednisolone, gets into basically every single cell in your body. Now for the really wild part. Step 3, it doesn't just hang out. It marches right into the nucleus, the cell's command center, and starts messing with your genes. And that leads to step 4. It literally tells your DNA to stop making the stuff that causes inflammation. It's like a system-wide fundamental shutdown order.
And that brings us to a really critical point. Prednisone doesn't actually cure anything. It doesn't fix the root problem. What it does is powerfully shut down the body's over-the-top harmful reactions. The firefighter analogy is perfect here. It's great at putting out a raging fire, but it does absolutely nothing to fix the faulty wiring that caused the fire in the first place.
Right, and that brings us to the other edge of the sword. Because when you use something so powerful that it can rewrite instructions at a genetic level, well, you just know there are going to be consequences. So let's talk about the not-so-great part, the side effects.
You can pretty much split the side effects into two big buckets, short-term and long-term. In the short term, you've got things that can pop up even after just a few days. You might feel super hungry all the time, notice some puffiness from holding on to water, or even have some pretty wild mood swings. But the real serious danger zone is with long-term use. That's where the consequences can get a lot more severe.
And one of the biggest, most well-known risks of being on this stuff for a long time is a condition called Cushing syndrome. Basically, this is what happens when your body has way too much cortisol, or in this case, a drug pretending to be cortisol, circulating for months or even years.
And the signs of Cushing's are pretty unmistakable. They're all caused by how the drug messes with your body's metabolism and fat distribution. We're talking about things like a round, puffy face, often called a moon face, a fat deposit that can form on the back of the neck, sometimes called a buffalo hump, weight gain that centers right around your midsection, and your skin can become very thin, making you bruise super easily and heal very slowly.
Okay, so with all these pretty scary risks on the table, you're probably wondering, how on earth do people use this drug safely? Well, there are some very strict rules, and they are absolutely non-negotiable.
All right, listen up, because if you take away only one thing from this entire discussion, let it be this: the golden rule. The number one rule, the rule you can never ever break is do not stop taking it abruptly. Just don't. I can't stress this enough. It is incredibly dangerous.
So why is it so dangerous? Here's the deal. When you're taking prednisone, your body says, oh, cool, we have plenty of this cortisol stuff coming in, I'll just take a break. Your adrenal glands, the little guys that make your natural cortisol, they basically go to sleep. So if you suddenly cut off the supply of prednisone, your body is left with zero cortisol, and that can throw you into what's called an adrenal crisis, which is a life-threatening emergency. We're talking shock, seizures, even a coma.
And that is exactly why doctors have a very specific process for getting off it, called tapering. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. The dose is lowered very, very slowly, sometimes over days, weeks, or even months. Think of it like gently waking someone up instead of blasting an air horn in their ear. This slow, gradual reduction gives those sleepy adrenal glands the time they need to wake up and start doing their job again. And this has to be done with your doctor. No DIY projects here.
And it's not just about tapering. There are other key things to keep in mind. Remember, this drug is suppressing your immune system, so you have to be extra careful about infections. That's also why you can't get certain live vaccines, like for MMR or shingles. It's absolutely crucial to tell your doctor about your entire medical history, if you have diabetes, ulcers, anything like that. And finally, they need to know every other single thing you're taking, even over-the-counter stuff like ibuprofen, because drug interactions can be a really big deal.
So let's pull all these threads together now and get back to where we started. This idea of the double-edged sword. When you really boil it down, it's a trade-off, pure and simple. In the power column, you've got this incredible ability to stomp out inflammation super fast. It manages a huge list of diseases and can be genuinely life-saving. But in the price column, the cost is high. You're looking at major side effects, you need constant check-ins with your doctor, and you have to use it with extreme care. Which leads us to the real mantra for using prednisone safely. The absolute key is this: use the smallest dose that actually works, for the shortest amount of time possible. That's the whole game. It's a constant, careful balancing act between getting the benefits you need while minimizing the risks.
You know, when you look at it, prednisone is a perfect example of just how powerful modern medicine is, but also how complex it can be. It really leaves us with this big, important question to think about. When we have these incredible tools that can both heal and harm in equal measure, how do we learn to wield them wisely?